Oh,
The
man.
grip police are coming for you.
Hold on. I want to read this. Vicky says, this week I learned that asking for evidence and pointing out lies is bullying.
No,
Vicky,
so
I haven't...
How much evidence do I need to provide? Because I have provided every bit of evidence. But how come she's taking someone that has no evidence and just?
But I haven't seen Vicky ask for anything in the chat. Vicky, you could even come on if you want. Do you want the link? Tell us what more evidence you need.
No, I already gave it to her.
She's not a lawyer, okay? She's not a lawyer. First of all, I'm not using his artwork. So why do I need a contract to work with another artist to draw me? What contract do I need? He needs the contract to draw Lady Alchemy. That's how it works. He does not own the copyright of Lady Alchemy without an exclusive contract to the rights of Lady Alchemy, okay? I do not need a contract to work with another artist to draw me. How do you not comprehend that? Are you retarded? Like, are you a retard? Like, do you know how to do long division? Do you know what long division is? Do you know how to do it? Or are you retarded? Because I don't need a contract to hire Dario to draw me. Maz needs a contract to draw Lady Alchemy because it's me. He does not have the contract to my rights. Are you retarded? I'm asking, like, seriously, are you clinically retarded? Do you collect public funds for retardation? Do you?
As they say, how did we get here? In 2017, Martina Markota went to work for the Daily Caller as a video producer and on-air personality. She then moved on to another conservative media outlet, Rebel Media. In the decade prior to moving into the world of online political commentary, she was a performance artist, doing burlesque under the name Lady Alchemy. She claims to have been blacklisted by her colleagues, who refused to perform with her because of her support of Donald Trump during and after the 2016 election, which of course necessitated a career change. As part of that career change, Martina hooked up with an artist and a writer out of LA to crowdfund a comic book. According to the artist and the writer, Martina was brought on to be the face of the project. They already had a 10-book story arc for a book entitled Dark World, and they would create a character based on Martina's burlesque character of Lady Alchemy, then insert that character into the book. Martina would then promote and market the book to ComicsGate. It was a sound strategy. There's nothing like a pretty woman to get a bunch of comic geeks to back a campaign, and it worked. By the time the crowdfunding site Indiegogo shut down the campaign in 2021, it had raised $54,197. Unfortunately, this isn't the tale of a victorious crowdfund. Successful crowdfunds don't end in accusations, lawsuits, and GoFundMes. Martina popped up on ComicsGate radar in the summer of 2018. She went about it in a novel fashion, not being a comic book creator herself and not having any connection to the community of indie comic creators. Her team came up with the unconventional idea of doing a video for Rebel News entitled ComicsGate is the New Gamergate, which was uploaded to the Rebel News YouTube channel on June 7, 2018. According to court filings, Maz Golstanezadeh and Chris Spidell started talking about this project in 2017. Spidell wrote the story for this project in March of 2018. Maz finished sketching and designing the artwork in June. Sometime prior to the Rebel Media video dropping, Maz approached Martina. She did not mention her own collaboration, the hoped-for acceptance by ComicsGate, or her involvement in an upcoming crowdfund project in the video, but that an agreement of some sort between Martina and Maz existed at the time of the video's release can be inferred by the inclusion of his Lady Alchemy cover in the video's thumbnail. While the comparison of Gamergate and ComicsGate wasn't very apt, Martina did catch ComicsGate's eye. After the video for Rebel News, she was in contact with Ethan Van Sciver and his friend Richard C. Meyer, a YouTuber who had gained a lot of press in both the comic broadsheets and in mainstream media for his sometimes intemperate criticism of mainstream comic books. The nascent movement of indie comic creators who were in the process of building loose networks to promote their crowdfund and comics fans willing to spend their hard-earned dollars backing those projects was extremely light on estrogen in the creator sector. Well, actually both sectors. ComicsGate was more than ready to have the fetching Martina on live streams to discuss what was being billed as her comic. The Lady Alchemy campaign launched on September 2nd, 2018 under the auspices of Magnum Opus Studio Productions with a flexible goal of $8,000. On Indiegogo, there are two types of goal, the fixed goal and the flexible goal. If the project owner chooses a fixed goal, they will only receive the money if that goal is met. Lady Alchemy's flexible goal, however, meant that all funds raised would be collected even if the goal wasn't reached. For small creators who don't have deep pockets, a flexible goal is a bit of a crapshoot because even if the goal is not achieved, they must still deliver all of the perks to the backers. No matter what type of goal is chosen, it should reflect the total needed to fulfill the campaign. Fortunately for Lady Alchemy, the $8,000 flexible goal was met on September 14th during Martina's appearance on Ethan Van Sciver's livestream. For creators in ComicsGate, getting on Ethan's livestream was, and still is, grabbing the brass ring of promotion. Van Sciver, a 20-year veteran of mainstream comics who worked for both DC and Marvel, has the highest profile and the largest reach in the community. And in the early days of ComicsGate, his seeming endorsement of a project was virtually a guarantee that you would get funded.
Lady Alchemy, the graphic novel. By the way, those of you in the chat, Martina here is trying to get to $8,000. That's her flexible goal. We're going to get her way past that. Right now, she's at $5,908, raised by 144 backers. She's only interfaced with 144 people right now, and really she has not met the full breadth of ComicsGate. That's you guys. 990 people are watching right now. The link is in the description. I'm going to let Martina take the mic and basically just tell you all about what this comic book is, and you guys decide if you want to back it and support it and make this thing happen, become a reality.
Awesome.
What is it about?
Well, I mean, like I was saying, that we want to bring back beauty. I mean, when I was growing up in the 90s, I really liked as a kid, and this is what's so funny when they try to attack you guys about She-Ra or whatever, that you're trying to sexualize these young cartoons and that they're meant for young girls. Well, when I was a young girl, I really liked like Witchblade and Gen 13 and Fathom, like the sexy, beautiful women with curves and the right curves, with muscles, and they were just beautiful and stunning. And I aspired to be like that. So that's the kind of thing that I've always liked, and I want to bring that back. But my artist and the person that part of my team that's helping me write, they're out in LA, they're in Hollywood, so they're kind of in hiding as well. But I have some like really fantastic people that are doing really big things. I mean, someone that's helping me write this is, he's done movies. He writes for movies that I'm sure you guys have all seen, really big things, but he's got to remain quiet. So it's going to have a really good storyline. I have a really amazing team. The artist also works in LA. And as you can see, his inspirations are like Patrick Nagel, really fine art type stuff. So, our thing is all about aesthetic. Lady Alchemy, that's what I did. I made costumes and it was all about beauty. So everything's just gonna be really beautiful, really feminine, but I'm also Lady Alchemy. So there's a lot of like esoteric themes in there. There's gonna be, I use my alchemical powers and summoning archangels and things and the elements that I'm able to control through my alchemy powers.
All right, hang on, Martina, you're funded. $8,006.
Wow.
So congratulations.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Ta-da!
Fully
So I
funded.
beat my $150 estimate. This is crazy.
Yeah, you did better than $100. We had the same thing happen to Antonio Bryce. He came over here with his comic book brand. He'd raised $95 on Kickstarter, and what is he at $35,000 right now with us here at Indiegogo? That's what ComicsGate does. It's just
amazing.
Thank you everyone in the chat. Let me read some more of these super chats and Doug, please.
The campaign closed on November 2nd, 2018. It raised $25,238 from 629 backers, and on Indiegogo, you can choose to either shut down the campaign or continue to accrue backers and funding through In Demand until the campaign is fulfilled. Lady Alchemy went in demand. Martina received her campaign funds from Indiegogo before the end of November. This is where things start to slide off the rails. The book was set for release in August 2019. The campaign had been up for 2 months. Martina had been on the project already for nearly 6 months. and Martina had yet to meet the writer of the project despite his being acknowledged on the campaign's Indiegogo webpage. Their first exchange was via email in mid-November, followed by a Skype call on November 18, 2018. To say that this is unusual is an understatement. On November 28, 2018, Martina and her then-boyfriend and now husband, Jack Buckby, filed a lawsuit in federal court to compel the U.S. Department of State to render a decision on Buckby's 2 visa applications. After years of political extremism dedicated to the far right, including a stint in the BNP and running for MP under the banner of Liberty GB, Buckby has been repackaging himself and now bills himself as a counter-extremism researcher. He applied for a tourist visa on March 22, 2017. And according to the court filings, he never received an approval or a denial, but was told his application was in administrative processing. On November 8, 2018, Buckby again applied for a journalist visa. According to an extension request by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, both visas had been denied, but would be re-examined. Martina and Jack withdrew the case on March 4, 2019. Maz and Chris continued to work on the book. But aside from invoices for work and product, such as posters and stickers, the next communication that we have between Martina and a member of the Lady Alchemy team is dated September 11, 2019, a year after the crowdfund went live and 1 month after the product was already due to backers. She is following up with Chris regarding the latest script. It's at this point, with the book already a month late for delivery, that she suggests incorporating more alchemical symbology as well as their own blood type into the story. Okay, that is great. I'm just trying to get into the nitty-gritty of the book and fine-tune this so we can get it in order, and I just wanted to have some input. What I'm trying to do is add more alchemy to it, so if there are small details that I can add that don't change the arc of your story, but I get to add some esoteric, occult, Gnostic alchemy stuff, that is ideal. Something to keep in mind, which may not change the story, but add some depth, may be my blood. So this is a true story. I found out that I have a very rare blood type. Everyone has A, B, or O, but there is the RH factor, either positive or negative. 85% of the world is positive, meaning they have a protein in their blood that genetically links them to the rhesus monkey. I do not have this protein. So what that means is that they don't know why I don't have it. I do not have the same genetic link to the monkey, and if I get pregnant with a positive guy and have a positive child, my body will physically attack the fetus because my body doesn't recognize it as my own. It thinks it is a parasite. In order to prevent this from happening, I need shots when I am pregnant with a plus baby. If the baby has negative, it's all fine and normal because my body sees it as my own. Also, when taking blood, I can only have my own negative blood or I will die. But people with positive blood can have negative blood, no problem. It is the purest of blood and others can have it, but I cannot have theirs. So I started researching this and found that in nature, when animals have this complication, it's because they are crossbreeding, which leads me to think, are there different types of species of humans existing in crossbreeding? What am I? So then I found in the Old Testament, in the book of Enoch, something called the Nephilim. They are descendants of fallen angels. The sons of God procreated with the daughters of man and created this hybrid race. The Nephilim are the bringers of alchemy, magic, metallurgy, makeup, and warfare, and have special abilities. And I become convinced that this is what I am, and I think this is why I have unique abilities and understanding of alchemy. So I was thinking the reason my doppelganger, which I want to find an appropriate name for these entities, is good, and why I have that something special in the comic, could be because of my bloodline. If we can mention that in there, and perhaps others like me with this ability are called the Nephilim, let me know what you think. I'd really like to incorporate that somehow. It's just really important that I have that layer of alchemy and esotericism in the comic, because so far there isn't much alchemy and Gnosticism, which is fine as long as I can find a way to layer it in there with each book or location. I want to have a hand in adding these esoteric layers. DC is fantastic for that Masonic history and the evil forces there. I've lived there also. London, I have been living and has lots of history, including alchemists, and obviously in other parts of the world too, including Paracelsus, Nicholas Flame. So much history, and the alchemy is everywhere. Just get back to me when you're better and have a think about it all. Add me on Skype and just call me whenever you want. By any objective measure, progress on the book had been slow. A tense Skype exchange between Maz and Martina, dated October 22nd, reveals that there are 14 completed pages out of a 40-page graphic novel. According to Maz, more pages are in various stages of execution. While Martina expressed her frustration at a lack of finished product, Maz gives voice to his own exasperation with the collaboration, seemingly feeling hemmed in by his inability to explain his situation to the backers due to Martina being the public face of the project. This exchange also reveals that Martina is broke. If she is forced to refund backers, it would put her $30,000 in debt. The golden rule of crowdfunding is only spend your crowdfund money on the product. By early December 2019, the wheels had completely fallen off the train. Martina sent an email to Maz and Chris detailing her dissatisfaction with the association. She was getting pressure from backers due to the book being 4 months late, and she had been assured by official ComicsGate people that the unconventional process of Chris and Maz was now too far outside the norm as far as storyboarding and scripting were concerned. She didn't feel that her esoteric ideas for the Lady Alchemy character were being incorporated into the book, and Martina was ready to cut bait. According to court filings, it was at this time Martina changed the login to the Indiegogo campaign. Maz pointed to all of the work he'd put into the comic and informed Martina that he would remove the Lady Alchemy character from the book, but that he fully intended to keep working on it, and requested a notarized statement from Martina stating that she wouldn't take legal action against them for doing so. He also asked that the enmity between them remain private and not be broadcast into the public sphere. Chris seconded Maz's call for a notarized statement from Martina, pointing out that he had not been compensated for his work on the book, and as such, she had no claim to the written work. The next day, Maz sent Martina the following email.
Martina, I've been doing a lot of thinking and don't want you to end up in a horribly unsalvageable situation. So with all sincerity, please consider my following suggestion as to what your next steps should be. Instead of canceling the project, you should write a well-worded letter to the backers stating that the project was going in a direction that you did not agree with and felt was not what the fans wanted or were expecting. Let people know that you felt no choice but to stop working with your creative team, but state that you are determined to finish the project. This is a good narrative, and people love to stand behind this sort of underdog story. Basically, what you're saying is you would have rather taken the hit than give the fans what you felt was not what they paid for. Then you should hire the ComicsGate insider that gave you the page quote and just do a soft relaunch. Meaning, leave the same campaign up, just take down the art and put up the new art. The posters and t-shirts are yours to have, and you can leave that stuff up and continue to sell it for your own profit. Find an artist inside the ComicsGate movement who also has clout in that scene. Maybe one of these guys that's on Ethan's show a lot and is in with that crowd. That way you can do the project you want and that you think the fans would like. This will not only give you more time, but will help you avoid having to lose all the money and the headache of having to issue tons of complicated refunds. Obviously, some people will want refunds no matter what, but this way, I doubt you would have to refund everything or anything at all if you can sell the fans on being on board with this reboot if you find a trusted artist in the scene. If you play that card right, you could reinvigorate the project in exactly the way you want and get all the fans on your side. If someone is telling you they can give you 40 pages for $4,000 in 4 months, then you should just hire that person and do it. That would be way less painful, cheaper, and take less time than just completely canceling the project. And just do the same with the tarot cards. For instance, you had a fan that drew a few cards and the art was good. Why not just hire that guy to do a deck at the same time and have both your book and deck finished to your exact liking? I think this is the right move to take. You will save the project, save your reputation, get to keep a portion, if not most of the money, and who knows, maybe even find the right team with the right momentum to do multiple books and turn this project into what it should have been. If the above scenario played out and this situation was salvaged, I would be very happy and give you and the project my blessing. As long as you don't slander me or Chris and keep the reason for the break as strictly creative differences, lack of communication, or something innocuous like that, then this whole situation might work out for the better and everyone will come out happy and in a better place. I urge you to please consider this option. Best, Maz.
Martina only took part of this deal. On December 23, 2019, she went on the Red Valkyrie livestream to talk about the dissolution of the partnership and her future plans for the book. The chat between Martina, Cyborg Valkyrie, and Shay Zombie begins with a look at the newly edited Indiegogo campaign page. The title of the book has been changed to Lady Alchemy Mudas Liber. The campaign owner was changed from Lady Alchemy to Martina Markota. Martina announced that Matthew Weldon would be doing the art. A new cover, colored by Ethan Van Sciver's colorist Kyle Ritter, was introduced. Even though no writer was mentioned, the description of the plot was also changed. The $40,000 stretch goal, making the book 60 pages instead of 40, was changed to a stretch goal described as, quote, fixing the mess that was created. After spending some time going over the soft relaunch of the campaign, the rest of the stream was primarily dedicated to Martina complaining about and denigrating Maz and Chris. This same sales pitch, combined with Martina's list of grievances about the previous work, would play itself out on various live streams over the coming months. On the Red Valkyrie stream, Martina also took the opportunity to discuss her financial difficulties. She claimed to be broke and that the rest of the work on the campaign would have to be paid out of her own pocket.
It's definitely been very, very stressful, and it's going to continue to be stressful because, I was paying people thousands of dollars when I'm the one that had my career blacklisted. I'm the one that has no money. I'm the one that cannot work, and now I'm going to be the one putting in my own money that I don't have to make sure that I finish this for the backers. So unless I can sell those posters, I am going to have to struggle to use my own funds to fix this project. But ultimately, I have to deliver what I promised, and I'm actually really, really excited.
At this point, 1,180 backers had contributed $46,298 to this project. According to the expenses Martina outlined on this stream, $4,200 was paid to Maz, $2,000 for posters, $600 for stickers, $1,500 for the limited run of silk-screened posters, $2,000 for t-shirts, and $5,000 in taxes. Indiegogo also takes a cut. They charge 5% off the top, plus a transaction fee of 2.9% and 30 cents per backer. There should have been a remainder of $31,987.10 from the campaign. The campaign would go on to gross $54,197 before it was closed by Indiegogo after Maz and Chris filed a lawsuit against Martina for copyright infringement, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and for injunctive relief regarding Martina's use of their copyrighted works on various websites, including Indiegogo. This lawsuit was filed on July 9, 2020. Per the complaint, both Maz and Chris filed copyright for their story Dark World. After the dissolution of the working relationship, the Lady Alchemy character was removed and Dark World once again became the title. Maz filed for copyright of his artwork on March 4, 2020, and this was followed by Chris copywriting the written work on April 8. It is now February 2021, and Martina Markota is once again making the rounds of ComicsGate live streams. This time, instead of crowdfunding a book, Martina is asking for people to crowdfund for her legal defense through a $20,000 GoFundMe. On January 21st of 2021, Indiegogo took down the Lady Alchemy Mudis Libre campaign page as a result of the copyright claim. On February 2nd, Martina appeared on Michael Bancroft's livestream to attempt to garner enough outrage and sympathy that ComicsGate would once again open their collective wallet. And once again, it appears to be an easy sell. Pretty girl being taken advantage of by the quote neo-Nazis who are trying to steal her hard work, presented to the audience of indie comic creators who oftentimes do not have formal contracts with those they are working with. That Martina was willing to work with these so-called neo-Nazis for well over a year goes unquestioned by her hosts. That she's praised the artwork and the story until December 2019 isn't brought up. Her claim that she owns the copyright simply because she's the project owner on Indiegogo's records does not cause a single eye to blink. How is she going to pay for these books and fulfillment isn't a question asked. No one thought to ask how a man who she called her partner on Ethan Van Sciver's live stream in September of 2019 became her employee.
Getting to the point, like how many pages?
Right. So it was originally supposed to be 40 pages. Now, when time started to happen and it was like, okay, I need this book. Like, where are the pages? Where are the pages? Like, everyone's asking, they're starting to complain. Backers are like, what the fuck? Like, you know, which is understandable. But I was putting pressure on him. Like, listen, this is my reputation. This is like, what's going on? He was like, okay, we're going to do 60 pages now. Just so that we can, he says, this will buy us time and you can make more money. So he was trying to buy time by adding pages and adding pages and adding pages.
Is that how it works, Joe?
No. No.
Okay.
Jill, are you a big...
If I had 20 pages for the Lucent now and we make more money, is that how it's going to work?
You know,
crazy.
maybe if you say it enough times, it'll work out that way.
Everything was a Ponzi scheme with this guy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and Jill,
What
like,
were
are
you gonna
you
say?
a big city?
That's not what happened either. The campaign had a stated stretch goal of 60 pages if it raised $40,000, as can be seen in an archive of the campaign saved on February 20th of 2019, a full 7 months before the book was due. As it happens, this stretch goal was met by April of that year. The backers are actually due a 60-page book.
So
Right.
I'm very cognizant of these sort of things. They do take a long time, and they're a lot. And I really feel for you because I mean, at the end of the day, it does seem like this guy wants to harass you, and I'm sure he's just sitting there giggling thinking about you having to pay attorney's fees and spend hours on this stuff. And that's just really, it's really awful. So,
And I mean, it's also just like, you know, it's clearly my likeness and my image that he's trying to prevent me from using. And so that's also that evilness behind it of like, ha ha ha, like, you know how much that hurts? It's like ripping your baby away from you. It's
Right.
me. It's literally me.
Right. I
That I'm
know.
not allowed to draw. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's me.
So where do you go from here in the middle of the lawsuit? You've got Dario working on the comic, and you've got...
This is a misrepresentation of the lawsuit. This isn't about Martina being prevented from using her own image in her own new comic, but about her using someone else's copyrighted art.
Two things about that. I mean, you're absolutely right. And yeah, I mean, but the difference is that it's literally my identity and my likeness and my IP. And I am in the process of it being officially a trademark, but I also have assumed a trademark because I've been using it in commerce since 2012. And also, I mean, it's literally me. You know, like no one can copyright someone else's identity. Like you legally cannot do that, which is what he's trying to do. So
yeah, that's why I don't think this is done for any.
While it is true that Martina formed her LLC, Magnum Opus Productions, in 2012, she didn't file for a trademark until last year, in June of 2020. The Lady Alchemy trademark she filed is one for live burlesque performance, not for comics.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have to because this is a horrible bitch.
she's just an anti. Yeah.
She claims that Maz and Chris were listed as creators of the original Indiegogo. You had never even heard of.
I have no idea who Chris is, and Maz's name has never been public. Try to find Maz or Chris's name in anything, in the press, in anything. And you know what? Even if you claim, which is not true, even if you claim there was a Maz and Chris on the original campaign, boo fucking who? They don't own the campaign. I do. Magnum Opus Productions LLC does. Could you imagine if I went around going, well, I was listed on that campaign. They put me in the description of that campaign. They'd go, Martina, did you own it? Well, Martina, did you put your information in it?
So here's
No, Maz did not do an interview. There was an artist called MG who was the artist on the camp. I own the campaign. I own it.
Can I just interject? I'm sorry. I don't
Yes.
want to take over the show, but I just want to speak.
Yeah, get in here, Jack.
There are so many people that I see on the internet who seem to be dedicated to making other people's lives hell, and it knocks me sick.
Martina and her husband Jack would have us believe that the MG and CS credited as creators on this campaign only coincidentally share the same initials as the two men suing her in federal court. And the MG that Martina was interviewed with in a September 13, 2018 Bounding Into Comics article is not the same artist as on the campaign. A man who, coincidentally, shares the same initials as one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit filed against Martina. After going through the evidence supplied by Martina Markota, I found myself left with more questions than answers. There are still gaps in the information that has been made public. For example, any written communication between Martina and Maz from the beginning of the collaboration has not been released. Not a single DM, text, or email addressing the actual arrangement. Martina has been more than willing to drop emails and texts that she believes bolsters her case. Yet, there is nothing in writing regarding the business of their doing business. And normally this wouldn't be any of our business, but it's been brought into the public sphere by the participants, and Martina is asking for financial support. She is returning to a community that has already given her nearly $60,000 with nothing to show for it. As we live more of our lives on social media and YouTube live streams, it's easy for us to blunder and say something we didn't mean to utter publicly. Quite often this gets plenty of attention, but sometimes, it slips past nearly unnoticed.
But ultimately, I had to just it's kind of like being in an abusive relationship where you feel like you are dependent on someone, and you're please do this, please finish, please, I need you, and then it was just wait a minute. When you start stepping back and you realize you were in an abusive relationship, you're like, why did I put up with that? Why did I need that? Right. So I stepped back and was like, wait a minute, I don't want this story. And this is not happening the way I want it to happen. So I said, enough is enough. I got all the merch in my possession, and then I let it go. And I said, have fun with the $4,250 that I gave you. You can have your own comic book, because clearly that's what you were working on.